Welcome to Grammar Review 2. Again, our objective is to review basic grammar and to learn how to do well on the grammar assessment. Proper punctuation is extremely important. Let's take a look at the semicolon. The semicolon links closely related independent clauses together. You'll notice in this example, the policeman stood on the corner. A separate sentence. Another separate sentence. He was watching the traffic pattern at the intersection. Because these sentences are so closely related, a semicolon makes sense. You can also link independent clauses and join them by a conjunctive adverb. Let's take a look at a couple of examples here. Everyone should have access to a computer. Furthermore, access to the internet should be free. You'll notice we have a semicolon before furthermore, our conjunctive adverb, and a comma after that conjunctive adverb. The same is true for however in the next sentence. You can also separate items in a series containing other punctuation because it can get kind of confusing to have multiple commas in a series if you have other punctuation in the items you're separating. Let's take a look at these two examples. He visited several colleges, schools, and institutions. Then we have a semicolon, several factories, office buildings, and churches, and another semicolon, and a number of public buildings. Again, this sentence would be extremely confusing if we just separated those series with commas. Here's another example. George Bush, the president, Dick Cheney, the vice president, and Condoleezza Rice, the Secretary of State. You might likely need to separate people's names with their titles. Again, commas would be confusing in this sentence, so a semicolon makes more sense. Some words to write right. These are some words that people get kind of confused with each other. Words often sound similar, but they have different meanings. Look at the example here in accept and accept with an A. Accept with an E means with the exclusion of or other than. An example here, all the dogs were white except for one. Now, accept with an A refers to receiving something that's being offered or to regard as proper, usual, or right. Let's take a look at this example here. An example, I chose to accept the offer from the university. You're receiving something that's being offered. Some more words to write right. Insure, and assure are often confused. Insure with an I is to guarantee against loss of life, property, or other types of losses. Think about insurance here. So the example, make sure that your car is insured against damage. Insure with an E, and like our drink up here in the corner, is to make certain of. Please ensure you provide the correct information. In the example of the drink insure, you're ensuring that you get proper nutrition. Assure with an A is to give confidence to or to reassure someone. I assure you that your kids will be safe here. A few more words to write right. Whose and whose are often confused by people. Whose with WHO''S is a contraction for who is. The example here is who's the new guy. When you're trying to think of whether it should be whose with an apostrophe or without, think about whether you could replace who is in this sentence. If you can, then it should be a contraction. Whose is the possessive form of who. So here's the example. Whose car is this? You wouldn't want to say who is car is this, would you? No. So the correct word is whose without the apostrophe. There, and there are also confusing to people. There, spelled T-H-E-I-R, is the possessive form of they. Look at our example here. Their clothes were dirty. There, spelled T-H-E-R-E, means at or in that place. The example here is the store is over there. They are, again, is another situation where there's a contraction for they are. So if you could replace they are in the sentence, then this is the appropriate type of there. They're having problems at home, or they are having problems at home. Either would work there. More words to write right. Affect with an A and effect with an E. Affect with an A is an emotion or to have an influence. 9/11 affected all Americans. Effect with an E is a result to cause it to happen. One effect of the hurricane was the loss of power. Two and two with two O's are confused by some people as well. T with one O is in the direction of. How do you get to the bank? T with two O's means in addition or excessive. I like to think of that extra O being in addition or in excessive. I like the Wildcats too. Than with an A and then with an E. Than with an A means as compared with. I am taller than you. Then with an E refers to at that time or therefore. We ate and then we left. Cite with a C and cite with an S are often confused by people as well. Cite with a C is quoting as an example or an authority. Please cite all references. Cite with an S is the place or setting of something. Here is the site of the attack. You will also notice that website is cite with an S because it is a place or a setting for something in an online environment. Its and its without an apostrophe is the possessive case of its with an apostrophe is a contraction for the words it is. Could have or could of. Could have is always the appropriate choice. Don't use could of. Every day is one word or every space day. This one's confusing to many people out there. Every day as one word means that it's commonplace or ordinary. It's an everyday occurrence. It's used as an adjective. Every space day means that it's actually occurring daily. So it's something that happens every single day. Something like every day he goes for a run. Being concise is always nice, particularly in this class. Avoid redundancy and repetitiveness. You wouldn't need to say 12 p.m. noon. The end result, advanced planning, true facts, successful achievements. In all of these scenarios, you would just need one of those words, not both. Cut out unnecessary introductory phrases. With reference to your question, I think we should go on Thursday. You could simply say, I think we should go on Thursday. It seems unnecessary to point out that it is now raining. Well, if it seems unnecessary, then leave that part out. Some more help. Avoid using that whenever possible. Reread your documents and think about the word that. Do you need it in that sentence? If not, remove it. Here's the shirt I just bought. Many people would put a that in that sentence, but it's really unnecessary. Same here. I believe that I will learn a lot in this class. You could just say, I believe I will learn a lot in this class. We thought the game started at 2 p.m. It sounds just fine without the that. Grammar is one subject I need to study. Another example where you could leave out the word that. In general, we want to get active in our writing. Use active voice. Here's an example. Passive voice, two youths approached me and I was asked for my wallet. A better way to say that is inactive voice. Two youths approached me and asked me for my wallet. Here's another example. Passive, your report was lost by Joe. Or you could simply say, Joe lost your report. Occasionally, passive voice is needed in research writing to avoid using first and second person. So when you write your analytical reports, you may run into some scenarios where you have to use passive voice. But in general, use active voice. Well, you may be asking yourself, why am I learning all of this? Well, you really want to do well on the grammar assessment. All questions on the grammar assessment are multiple choice and true false. If you read Appendix A in your book, there's a section called Grammar and Punctuation Guide. That will help you do well. Know this presentation and grammar review number 1 because questions will come from both Appendix A and this video tutorial and the Grammar Review 1 tutorial. Well, I said it was a review. Hopefully it was just a refresher for you and you're prepared to do well on the grammar assessment.